Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So I threw you to the earth. I made a spectacle of you before kings. The Book of Ezekiel. The silent battalions of hell, summoned to serve when the court of the seven-headed serpent seeks sport, are composed of hell knights. Their ever-burning banners stream as they march to war, carrying out the bidding of their masters. They are the bannerets of the high lords of the court, champions who respond to foolish mortals daring to challenge the hunting parties of the serpent's nobility, who embark on hunting excursions beyond the gate for their amusement. Heretic priests whisper that these infernal warriors were once lesser fallen angels, or mighty mortal champions elevated into devilhood, but then cursed by their liege lords for some slight, real or imagined. Cast out from the burning palaces of the pit, the alabaster architecture of their bodies is now bound, twisted, and folded upon itself 1,000 times, and encased in a tomb of their once splendid armour that is now their eternal prison. It is said that to glimpse the body inside is to gaze upon the sheer horror of divine flesh wrapped with glaring eyes of light, mouths uttering blasphemies, and pulsating inner organs that gibber and shriek, crushed into a space barely 1/10 of their original form. Despite a reduction in stature, they retained their inordinate pride and brook no insolence from the wretched mortals that serve them. Once party to the secrets of creation, now their minds are clouded with endless blood-red waking dreams. Their thoughts are crushed together to a singular dragged prism of murderous intent. Their form tormented by the cold of the earthly realm they are forced to endure just as humans suffer in the flames of hell. They are mighty still, but less than nothing compared to the exalted glory of their original forms. Even so, next to a mortal soldier, they are terrifying and implacable foes. They wield ancient and wicked weapons such as great swords, battle axes, and arquebuses, forged by the household smiths deep in the bowels of their demon lord's keep. Though the appearance of such armaments is archaic to mortals, they are easily a match for even the most advanced arms from the foundries of New Antioch or the laboratories of the House of Wisdom. On their helmets they carry the seal of the great demon spirit that they serve, and about them float eerie corpse candles that act as conduits to goethic magic. Alrighty, so just this second in the Trench Crusade Discord, Tuomas has revealed the next member of the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, which is the Hell Knight, and it looks pretty badass. This is actually what I was hoping for, building upon the week previous. I had already said that I wished the next faction would be very metal. I mean that in both senses of the word as well. I mean like metal as in heavy metal, and metal as in lots of armor, lots of getting up in your face, lots of just that vibe, because I've always been a tremendous fan of it. And this is veering into the Berserk and the Miyazaki inspired Dark Souls aesthetic that I just absolutely adore. Absolutely love the look of this guy. It looks exactly like something you would run into in Elden Ring or Dark Souls, so I am all about it. There's lots of super neat little details to this guy that I'm a huge fan of. There is the kind of burnt on, what I assume to be crust of the heat and flames of hell on the actual armor itself, just absolutely covered in gore, essentially cooking the gore and ichor of enemies onto your own armor as you fight him for all eternity. Is quite cool. We've got a recurring theme across many of these characters of keys, and there's a key right there, so I'm curious to see what way that plays out long term in the lore and the story. I love the cloak. The cloak itself, as you can see, is actually made from chain link as opposed to being just a simple cloak of fur, and I really like that. And then of course the goethic candles that are floating around. I'm incredibly curious to see how they pull that one off in the sculpt. That's going to be super interesting, or is it going to be something that just kind of gets left on the ideated floor when it comes to actually producing the miniature itself? I have no idea. But yeah, these guys, I'm all about them. I think they look cool as shit. And this aesthetically is shaping up to be exactly my kind of faction so far. So I'm really, really excited. I also really liked the arquebuses thing. For anybody who doesn't know what an arquebus is, I had to do the same thing. I just had to research it just there. It's basically a big freaking gun. And that is quite cool. They're just large rifles from the 15th century. So yeah, kind of cool as well. So they will have a ranged option, at least according to the lore there. So yeah, this continues to grow the hype for me. It looks like we're settling into a pattern of every Wednesday we'll get a reveal, which I'm perfectly fine with. I think that's cool as shit. So let's keep it rolling. Let me know what you think in the in the comments below. Do you have any thoughts on what we might see next? It feels like we're seeing kind of elite E-units. I don't think we've seen the leader yet, and we have yet to see just the more standardy troops. So I'm really interested to see what way that plays out. I get the feeling the Pit Locust is kind of the monstrous-y, kind of Shrine Anchorite level guy for this unit, or for this faction, and this guy is definitely one of the elites. And we'll just see what way it plays out over the coming weeks. So yeah, thoughts below. All the best.